Hey, hey, hey. Grand grand evening. Boss Conversations. What is today? Monday? Happy Monday, good people. We are here for another good boss conversation. Tonight, we are going to be talking to one of these one of my great bosses that I've known for a very long time. This is an extraordinary fella here. And I'm so excited to bring him to you guys so you can learn about all of the great things that he has going on. Um, it's been a long weekend for me. I'm glad to be back on board with you guys. Thank you so much for chiming in. Good evening. Good evening. So, tonight, Boss Conversations with Janeah, we have Mr. Mel Roberson. He is a multi-stream entrepreneur. Getting a little tongue-tied here, you guys. Mel has a lot going on, and he keeps himself busy. Educated man, creative man. He has a lot of boss hats that he wears, and I don't want to really spill the beans and give any of those hats off yet until he comes on so we can officially talk about it. But I want to thank you guys for chiming in for another boss conversation. I'm going to go ahead and bring Mel onto the camera, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing cracking. Hello, Mel. How are you? I think your mic is still muted. Yeah, I don't know where your audio went. We was just talking. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. I'm like, look at technology. We was just talking. Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Boss Conversations. How y'all doing? Good evening. So we're working on Mel's audio on his end. We were just talking, so I'm not really sure what happened to the audio. So he's gonna go out and come back in. I want to thank you guys for chiming in tonight. We're gonna have a really good conversation. Mel has a lot of great information, especially for business owners, small business owners. So, hey, thank y'all for chiming in. I was just speaking with the brother. I don't even know what happened to um, his volume, but it's okay. We had those issues. I thought I got onto another platform where we wasn't gonna have to have those issues, but it happens. All
Does it
right.
work now?
Yes,
All
yes.
right, we good. We
We
good.
good. We good.
Sometimes you just need a quick reset.
Sometimes you just need a quick reset. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm good. I'm great. Good to be here with you after our you say you know me forever. We ain't finna give away our ages. Talking
Now
about how
look,
long we known each other.
you see, I said forever. I didn't say years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't say how many years we've known each other.
Right.
But it's
Right.
definitely good to see you, and it's good to have you on the platform and to talk to you about all of the great things that you've been involved in over the years. So, you ready to get the interview kicked off?
Man, I'm ready for whatever you got for me, babe. I'm here for you. You know, you are one of my lifelong friends, and anything you ever need, or anytime you ever needed me, I'm ready to get down. So I'm with you. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, Mr. Roberson, would you
Mm.
give the audience your name and let us know what do you do?
My name is Mel Roberson, born and raised on the south side of the Windy City. I'm from Chicago. I am what I call a multi-lane entrepreneur. I have several different businesses that I run. I'm also an actor and an Amazon.com bestselling author. So I act. I write, I speak. I have a consulting company where we do professional development seminars for companies. I've been with Legalshield for 20 years now. That's been bread and butter, and it's been a good cause and a good thing to offer to people to give them access to attorneys in the justice system. I have a t-shirt company. I've been doing t-shirts for many years. Got a lot of large corporate clients that I do shirts for, and so that's been dope. And let me think, what else do I do? Oh, I DJ, right? That's how I paid my way through college, and I still, as a matter of fact, I got a wedding coming up, two weddings coming up next month. So I do that, and I think that's enough for now.
Right. I mean, I'm like, man, how you wear all these hats and they don't fall off? That
Well,
man, that's pretty dope.
I wear
So,
them one at a time. That's how I wear them.
oh, that's dope. Okay, wear them one
Yeah,
at a time.
right.
So, let's just go through the list. Now, you're an author. How many
hmm
books have you authored or co-authored?
I've co-authored six, and I have one solo project. So every book that I've ever been a part of has hit bestseller rankings on Amazon. If you go to melroberson.com, there's a link on there where you can get any of my books. But I've co-authored six, so they've been anthologies, a collection of writings from various authors. And then my first solo project, my only solo project to date, is what I call a self-help novel. So it's a self-help book written as a story so that the lessons are more palatable and easy to understand. Your mind thinks in what we call pictographs. So instead of giving people all of these different how-tos about life or about success or whatever, I put it in a story so that they could see the lesson unfold and really digest what it is that made, this particular character this way, as opposed to just having it be, some do X, Y, and Z and you'll make $1 million, which, hardly ever happens. So yeah, six co-authors, one solo project. I'm writing the follow up to that solo project right now because I put that book out 10 years ago. So the 10-year anniversary of that book is coming up, which is ridiculous to even think of.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's it in a nutshell on the author side. But all of my books are either inspirational, self help, or professional development. I don't really, even though my self help novel is written as a story, is still considered a professional development or personal development book, not just a random. It ain't like a Eric Jerome Dickey novel or nothing like that.
So I've known you for a few years, and I know that you are a public speaker and an awesome public speaker. I have had the pleasure of witnessing you publicly speak and become a speaker. So I've had the pleasure of witnessing you from the birth of that to right now. Hey, Mila. So, how did you get into public speaking? Because, man, you are a dope public speaker at this point. How did you get into that?
I I can't really say it was one thing or another that put me into the public speaking arena. In high school, I didn't even enter into the speech competitions. I I didn't want to be a speaker. The number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. More people are afraid to speak in public than they are to die, right? And so, I did some things. I delivered the "I Have a Dream" speech in college during Dr. King's birthday weekend. Went to a predominantly white institution. So when they did something for Dr. King, they were like, we got to do something for him. And, it was like, okay, I'll do his speech. So I did that a few times. I've been in leadership positions, though. So even grammar school, high school, college, I was a president of any student body I've been a part of. I'm president of student senate, president, graduating class president, something like that. So I've been in leadership positions, but I don't think that they required me to speak publicly or give speeches. It was more orchestrating and having conversations, or at least that's how I looked at it. So as my speaking career developed, or as I started doing trainings and doing public speaking, I looked at it more as a conversation with a lot of people. Right? It's not me giving a presentation or a speech. It's me having a conversation with a lot of people at one time. And when
Is
you
that
think
how you
about it,
get
like,
over like being nervous?
yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, think about it like this: if me and you were having this exact same conversation, and there was a room with 100 people around us, and they weren't paying attention, it wouldn't be a big deal. If they are paying attention, who cares? You know what I mean? This is still a conversation between me and you. So some of the techniques that I read about and developed, and I eventually went to Toastmasters and did all of this other stuff too. But I would just hone in on a few people that were friendly people in the audience, and I directed my entire presentation towards those few friendly people. I can have a conversation with a few people at a time. And if that's all I'm doing, then it doesn't matter. And so, do I still get nervous? I mean, I've spoken in front of crowds as large as 15,000 people. So, yes, I do get nervous. But the nervousness subsides for two reasons. Number one, I know what the hell I'm talking about, right? I'm always well prepared. When you know what you're talking about, there's a different level of confidence that you have. And it's not being cocky, it's not being arrogant, it's being prepared, right? So I know what I'm talking about. And number two, I don't care what other people think. You know, we get so wrapped up in, and this isn't just about public speaking, this is a life lesson. We get so wrapped up in what other people are thinking about us or what they're going to say or whatever. And my thing is, if this person wouldn't give me a kidney, I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I needed a kidney and they were a match and they wouldn't give me one, I don't really care about what their opinion is. So all of these things that we think about in our mind become our self-fulfilling prophecies only because we give power to them. So I'm choosing not to give power to the people that are not going to be a deliberate part of my life. So
now you mentioned Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters?
So Toastmasters is an organization that teaches public speaking. They have clubs all over the world, and they teach you the fundamentals of public speaking. So by the time I got to Toastmasters, I was doing so many speeches that I had somewhat mastered the fundamentals of speaking, but didn't even know that that's what I was doing. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So Toastmasters teaches you, they have an counter. When people speak, you'll hear a lot of times people are and it's because they're formulating their thoughts, or, you know, they have a pause, they don't know what to say, or it could be out of nervousness. So I developed over time. You know, if you go back and look at this, you'll hardly ever hear me say when I'm speaking, or people will have anchor words or things that they say, like, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, you know, and they'll say that after every couple of sentences.
Right.
Well, I learned not to do that, just because I would listen to my speeches back and I was like, man, I said a lot of times and I didn't even know it was a thing. So I get to Toastmasters and they're like, okay, we're going to have an counter for you to see how many times you say in your presentation. And I did the presentation and they were like, wow, you only said it once. And it wasn't even an at the time. It was a pause, because what I was about to say, I was reformulating my thought. So I was like, whatever it was. And so stuff like that, they teach you, you know, proper openings, you know, to have a beginning, middle, and end, you know, how to close properly or end with a compelling statement, impromptu speeches where it's just something that pops up. They give you a topic and you learn and you speak on that topic for a minute without, you know, any background on it, without you haven't done any research on it. So different things here and there. And it's a great organization for somebody to cut their teeth and really learn the fundamentals of public speaking.
All right, that's good. I think so as well. Look at me talking about you're gonna have me counting my because I know I say I'm about to say it again. But I do think that Toastmasters is a great avenue for people to go to if they want to really refine their speaking and things like that. And if you're scared to speak and you just don't know where to start, there are Toastmasters in almost anybody's neighborhood, and you can just look it up and you'll have a nice little group of people who can really help you refine that. I know for myself, I know I do still get nervous when I speak in front of people, but the nervousness for me, it kind of fuels me. But I get more nervous in smaller crowds than I do in bigger crowds. And so if I'm in a room speaking to 6 people, that's totally different than speaking to 100, 200, you know. So I definitely think that Toastmasters is a good thing to help you kind of shake being, nervous or getting over those little, like you said, those catchphrases that people say all the time. Now we're gonna switch lanes a little bit. So we already covered, you're an author, you are a speaker. And so let's go into, hold on one second.
Now, normally, if she left,
Sorry, y'all.
I'd be eating this taco that I got over here.
You about to get back into your taco? No, you cannot get back into your taco. Okay, look. So look, I want to move into your acting. Okay, so before we move into your acting, I want to show a little clip real quick to the people from something you did.
Let me mute my line.
Mute your line. All right, so you guys, we're gonna look at Mel's work real quick before we actually talk to him about it.
We just found one of your traps at a green RAV4. Those state-of-the-art. Those 2 screws in the speaker panel. Well, man, nobody builds them like Beto, right? But the trouble is, it was loaded with 10 bricks of heroin.
I build them. I don't fill them.
Is this the guy who brought you the car?
Never saw him before. Were you officers aware that it is now legal to build concealed traps in cars in the state of Illinois?
Oh, you know it's still not legal? Taking cash for jobs and not declaring. That trap alone cost $5 grand. Uncle Sam get his taste.
Sit on the paperwork.
My friend at the IRS, and we'll shut this place down. Who brought you the car?
Johnny Z.
Who's that?
Johnny Zakarian. Small time chump.
You got a contact?
All right, so that was, I actually found quite a few clips of you, but I pulled that clip out because Chicago PD is one of my favorite shows. And I think the first time that I saw you on there, I sent you a text message and I took a screenshot of the TV because I think I knew you did Chicago PD, but you do so much that I didn't, expect to see you come up on the screen. So how did you get into acting? You're muted. You're still muted. I don't know why it nope, your volume isn't back. All right, you guys, we're gonna let Mel come back in again. I hate that I won't tell him to mute his mic again. But as you guys, as we talked about, Mel is an actor, and that was a clip from Chicago PD, one of my favorite shows. I went and researched a couple little clips of him. He's been on Empire, Chicago PD, The Chi, as well as some other things. So when he comes back, we'll talk about some of the other things that he's done and how he's got into actually acting and everything like that. It's pretty dope, all the things that this brother has done. But I'm definitely curious to know. I don't think I've ever asked him how he got into acting, because he does not just TV. He does all kind of different things. So I'm loving it. Anyway, welcome, you guys. I see some more of you guys have chimed in. All right, Mel, you back on. Volume is on. Let's go. How did you get into acting?
All right, so I will not mute my line again. Every time I mute, I won't do it again. I got into acting by accident. One of my brother grew up with this cat named Marcellus. They went to high school together, and they're like literally best friends. He's like a little brother to me. He has a sister. Her name is Yatasha Womack. And he called me and was like, my sister wants you to be in my film and be in her film. And I was like, I'm not an actor. He was like, just talk to her. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, you could have just called me. You didn't have to have your little brother do the dirty work. And so she's like, would you be in my film? I think you'd be good. I was like, I'm not an actor. And she was like, oh, you'd be great in it. So I did her film and won all of these different awards. It was called Love Short. So it was like 6 different stories about women and their relationships. It won all of these awards at this film festival. They're telling me about it. I'm like, oh, great. I don't care. I'm not an actor. And then about a year later, a buddy of mine said they needed poets for this play that was going up. Now, I do spoken word poetry. I had no problem with that. And so I go and I audition for the play. Well, one of the young ladies that was in the film I was in told the director, she said, well, he's a really good actor, so you should give him a role or let him, read for one of the roles. So they come shoving this script in my face. I was like, why does everybody try to make me an actor? I am not an actor. Did the play again, became the lead in the play, then went on and did a film, then did more film, then did more stage, film, stage, a whole lot of stage. And then, Chicago PD, The Chi, Empire, a bunch of shows, movies on Netflix, Amazon, stuff like that. So it's interesting. It was an interesting journey, but it wasn't one I intended. Like when we were younger, I wasn't like, oh, I want to be an actor when I grow up. I didn't think about that. Never thought about that.
It found you.
It found me. That's right. You
also have a producer credit.
Yeah, I've produced some films too. Executive produced some films. See, I said, there you go. I said it once. But I've produced some films, put some money behind some films before. Or being an executive producer doesn't necessarily mean that you are the one funding it. Sometimes you have resources or you can pull people in to get the things done that need to be done for the film. And so I've done some behind the scenes stuff. I've written some stuff too. So I'm in the process of writing a full length feature film right now. But yeah, I've done some things that have given me those credits, and it's a ride. It's a fun ride. Producing good art and telling compelling stories is always what I'm about, whether it's in the entertainment world or whether it's writing books or whatever. But it's really about conveying a compelling story.
And when you get onto those scenes, because like somebody who's never been on a movie set or something of that nature, like, is it exciting on the movie set or is it like work? Because one would think that you guys, like, it's real exciting that you have a good time and everything. You're on here with all these high profile actors and stuff like that. How is it on these sets?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. It is exciting, but you can't get so wrapped up in the excitement that you're not paying attention to the job that needs to get done. Especially when you're on television. Like those big budget TV shows like Chicago PD, they have to shoot, 2-3 minutes of a scene. You're there literally all day. And there are, tens of or maybe 100 people, depending on where your scene is and what all takes place. I mean, from the people that block off the streets, if it's an outside scene, to the camera crew, to the sound crew, wardrobe, makeup, people that drive you back and forth from your trailer, the food crew, the people that do your hair, cut your hair, do your make. It's a whole production. So it's exciting and it can be a little bit overwhelming at first. But once you get used to it and you just realize that these are the moving pieces that are involved to get a show done, it's not that big of a deal to really be around. And again, the focus is, let me come here, let me do my best, let me be prepared. It's nothing like getting to a set and you're not prepared, or you don't know your lines, or somebody doesn't know their lines, because then they're holding up progress for the entire production. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh. So you are also in a fraternity, right?
Absolutely. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I am.
So how has you being what I call you, a frat guy? What I call
frat boy? Me being a frat boy.
Frat boy. How did you? How did that, or does that affect or benefit or add to your success in your business ventures? Does that play any part of like your success entrepreneur wise?
Well, I'll put it like this, right? So my fraternity, which happens to be the world's best fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, founded on the campus of Indiana University, January 5th, 1911. by Elder Watson Diggs and 9 other distinguished gentlemen. Uh, it, it I'll say this. I don't think that, what's the best way to put it? Kappa makes good men better, right? We bring something to the table as men when we join the organization. So and through the collective thought process and networking and all of that, have I become a better person? Yes. But have I contributed equally to the fraternity? Absolutely. There have been times where I've met people, and because they knew I was in a fraternity, they know I have a certain mindset about things that may have helped me out. Or if I have a fraternity brother that is in a certain position or whatever, and he knows that, there are there's some benefits to it, but overall, I mean, you still have to do the work. It doesn't matter if I'm a Kappa and somebody who's a director of a show is a Kappa, and I get there, and if I don't do the work, I make him look bad. So I still have to do the work. I still have to be prepared in order to deliver what my responsibilities are in that situation. And that's whether it's acting, whether it's business. Somebody brings me in as a consultant and I promise these results, or I promise to teach these leadership principles that'll help turn the organization around, which is a lot of what I do. If I don't deliver, it doesn't matter that I was in the fraternity. I still got to deliver. So could it open some doors for you? Yeah. But I think anybody who's prepared and who's a go-getter can open those same doors. It's really a matter of being willing to do the work. And
So what's the benefit of being in a fraternity?
It's difficult to explain. It's really difficult to put into words, right?
Okay.
It's a feeling, right? So Simon Sinek, who is the author of Start With Why, the part of the brain that's responsible for decision making has no vocabulary. Okay, so if I were to ask a person, why did you choose your spouse, and they would say, oh, they're funny, they're attractive, they treat me well, whatever. It's funny, attractive, and treat me well. Well, that's not the reason that you chose your spouse, because there are other people who are funny, attractive, and willing to treat you well, right? But when it's something different than just funny, attractive, and treating me well, right? So that part of the brain that just knows, we call it your gut or your instincts or anything like that, that part knows when it's right, because it's not for everybody. Are there benefits? Are there networking abilities? Absolutely. I guess a better way that I could have put it is, yes, there are networking possibilities and opportunities, but are there successful people that aren't in fraternities and sororities that have become successful and made their own way? Absolutely. So yes, there are benefits. Membership has its privileges. There's a brotherhood. I mean, there have been times where I've been out of town or I've needed something either as a Kappa or a Mason, and because I am in the fraternity or those fraternities, they extended their hand or their willingness to help based off of me being in the fraternity. So yes, there are some benefits there, but I think it's for people that are interested, pursue it. For people that aren't interested or don't want to be a part of it, that's fine too, I guess ultimately is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Now, you also mentioned that you are a vice president, is it?
Yeah, VP of 4 different states.
For Legalshield, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What is Legalshield?
Legalshield does for legal fees what major medical is supposed to do for doctor and hospital bills. So if you think about health insurance, take the doctor out, put the lawyer in. People pay a flat monthly fee to have unlimited access to a nationwide network of attorneys, from the traumatic to the trivial. So it could be something as small as, you were treated unfairly or tried to return a defective product, where normally it wouldn't make sense to hire an attorney at $400 an hour over a $200 situation. But now, because people pay a flat monthly fee, they have access to attorneys for a variety of services. And we do an identity theft protection program as well. I've been a member longer than I've actually been selling the product. And they've literally saved me tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point by having affordable access to attorneys.
Okay. And so these attorneys, do they cover like only certain topics or areas, or is it like a broad spectrum?
It's a broad spectrum. It's I think about it kind of like AAA, right? If you have AAA, if you need gas, you need your tire changed, or you need to be towed within a certain distance, it's covered under your membership. If it falls outside of the miles you get towed, then you're going to get a discount on your tow. You're going to get a discount on them fixing your car at certain places. You can get a discount on car rentals. So with Legal Shield, there are a ton of things that are covered at no additional charge: consultation, reviewing contracts, traffic tickets, getting your will done. We have a 24-hour emergency number if you need to talk to somebody. But if it's something that falls outside of that, you're going to get a discount on it. So if you have a DUI or a criminal charge, you're still going to get an attorney, but it's going to be at a discount. So yeah, like I said, I've used it for over 20 years now, and it's been super dope on some of the stuff that they've done for me.
Cool. So if I had, say, I was staying in an apartment complex, and or a private rental, and my landlord said, look, I know you got 6 more months left on this lease, but I need you to get out because I want to put somebody else in this place. Could I then like go to one of those lawyers and that lawyer deal with them? Because those are the type of situations that people find themselves in, and some people don't even know that it's illegal for someone to do that.
Yeah. Let me jump in there. Number one, Jazz. Yes, there's a link. If you go to melroberson.com, like you see my name right here, I got links on all that stuff, and you can go straight there and find whatever you need. You could also hit me on Instagram or on Facebook in my inbox, and I'll be willing to assist you, sis. So that ain't a problem at all.
No, that's my baby.
In order to answer your question, Janeah, absolutely. I'll give you a prime situation with this thing right here that everybody has, the cell phone. I work from home. I've been working from home for years. My cell phone is my primary phone for business. It got to a point where I wasn't getting good reception in my house, right? So no reception in my house. I'm dropping calls, people saying they can't hear me. I called my provider, and I'm like, yo, I'm not getting good service. They're like, oh, we'll give you a credit. We're replacing the towers in your area. 30 days, 60 days. After 90 days of horrible service, I switched cell phone providers. My previous provider tried to give me a $250 early termination fee. They're like, we dropping, you dropped us, we gonna hit you in the pockets for this $250 for canceling your contract. I'm like, I ain't paying that. If you don't pay it, it's going on your credit. Now, I don't want $250 messing up my credit. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't call a lawyer at $400 an hour to take care of a $250 an hour situation. It would be cheaper to pay the $250. But since I'm a Legal Shield member, I called them. I told them what happened. They wrote a letter on my behalf, sent it to the legal department of my cell phone provider. My cell phone provider then called me and was like, hey, we got a letter from your attorney. We've dropped the $250 early termination fee. Didn't cost me anything above my monthly membership. So, little situations, like I say, from the traumatic to the trivial. We think of legal situations as, somebody robbed a bank or something, or shot somebody and they need a lawyer, or, little Juju about to go to jail and we trying to keep him out. We got to go fund me for him. I mean, not that stuff doesn't happen, because it does. However, little stuff like what I dealt with, like traffic tickets, like getting your will done, which everybody, 9 out of 10 Black families don't have a last will and testament, living will, healthcare power of attorney. That's a $1,500 value that's included in our program. So, there's always something that, and for me, my life's work outside of Legal Shield, my life's work is, number one, helping people have light bulb moments to realize their true human potential. And number two, providing resources, real resources for people to get what they need in life, whether it's a book, whether it's a Legal Shield plan, whether it's a connection to somebody that I know. One of my girls called me today. She was like, man, my car is out. Do you know somebody at a Buick dealership? Yep, I got 2 different people. You know what I mean? I got you want a Buick, you want a Nissan. All right, what do you want? I got you. So I provide resources for people. So for me, it's not about the commission. It's about the mission. And the mission is really to make sure that my people, and all people, but definitely my people, because people of color traditionally haven't had access to stuff, have the information that they need. What they choose to do with the information is on them.
Right. So I think it's pretty awesome that people can have these situations that are non-emergency legal situations, and they can call on Legal Shield because those letters. Does Legal Shield handle trust? Does it?
Yes, we do trust at a discount. Now, the last will and testament, the living will, and the healthcare power of attorney are done at no additional charge to the monthly membership. A trust is done at a 25% discount. I will tell you, who is that? Sharnette, I don't know exactly where you are, but I know in the Chicagoland area, most trusts cost around $2,000. Our members get them for around $850 to get a trust done, which is a substantial discount. And I will tell you this, because I had a consultation with the attorneys. You know, when I thought, I was like, man, I'm making a little bit of money now. I got a little bit of property. I need to put something in the trust. And the advice that they gave me based on what I thought was a little bit different. So, you know, depending on how much you have in assets, you know, what your net worth is, if it's around $2 million in assets or something, there's some other things that you can do if you're below 2 million that you don't necessarily need a trust for, but depending on your situation, you talk to the attorneys and they'll tell you that stuff. But yeah, we do trust.
And so, as a Legal Shield member, you can confer with an attorney about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can talk about all this stuff, man. You know, I've had situations where I thought I was dead right. I was like, man, ain't no way. You know, I want to sue this person. They were like, well, legally you can't. Logically, it makes sense that you're upset about this particular situation, but based on the law, legally, you know, we could try to do this, but you know, the chances of you winning aren't really there. And so I would rather have that knowledge and that counsel to tell me what's going on in life about anything than to not have it. So
Yeah, those letters are important too, because there's a lot of people who they will try you, you know, especially people of color. They will try us, and they will try us on ways that a lot of times are not legal, but they know we don't know any better. But a simple letter can deter all of that, because once they know that you have a letter coming from an attorney, you know, most businesses, when they think about it, are they going to go hire an attorney to deal with you, knowing that now you have an attorney sending them a letter? Nope. Most of them are going to say, look, I just don't want to deal with you anymore. I'm just going to dissolve this whole issue that we have, period.
That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. I'll tell one more story. Now I know you want to move to something else, because one of the things that I love the most about the plan, and now you got me hyped, is that we have a 24-hour emergency number. Right. 24-hour emergency. If you're being arrested, questioned, or detained by some type of law enforcement official, if it involves a badge and a gun, it's probably not fun. By the way, again, melroberson.com. There are links on my site, and you can get all of this information. So I had a situation. I'm in Schaumburg. I get rear-ended by a pregnant white lady. Right. I'm at a stoplight. I don't know if she wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Stoplight. Me and my boy, bam, rear-ended. Right, by this pregnant white lady. I get out the car. She's crying. She's hyperventilating. You know, I'm a father. I'm sympathetic to that. I get it. We pull over. You know, I'm like, are you okay? I'm calling an ambulance. My sister is CPD. So I deal with cops. So I'm like, you know, I'm at this intersection. Please send the squad car and the ambulance. You know, I got a pregnant white female, approximately 32 years of age, blah, blah, blah. Right. I'm talking like this is before I was even on Chicago PD. This is before I was even on TV. Right. This is just because I got police in my family. So anyway, I'm sitting there. The police come up to my window. And he was like, what did you do to her? Why is she crying? License and registration. Keep your hands where I can see them. Hold on, bro. I was cool with everything else, just because I know cops talk to people like that. Till you said, keep your hands where I can see them. Bro, like I said, officer, by the way, I'm the one that called dispatch to make sure you were here. She rear-ended me. He was like, give me your license and registration, blah, blah, blah. So I give him my stuff. He goes to the car, back to the cruiser. Speed dial. I'm on the phone with Legal Shield. I'm pulled over. The officer is questioning me. I don't feel safe right now. She patches me through to the attorneys instantly. So I'm on the phone talking to my attorney, and he comes back. He was like, what happened? Tell me what happened. Like barking orders. My attorney said, is that the officer talking to you? I said, yes, sir. He's like, put me on speakerphone. Hit speakerphone. He said, this is Dave Bloom from the offices of Evans, Lowenstein, Shimanovsky, and Moscardini. I'm Mel Roberson's attorney. You will address all questions towards me from here on out. He said, "Is that really your attorney?" He was like, "I said address all questions towards me."
Right.
Right? So that officer got little real fast, dog. He was like, "Well, I was just asking him what was happening and blah, 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 blah." He said, "Number one, there's no reason for you to be talking to my client the way that you have. Number two, is my client being cited with a ticket?" He was like, "No, he's not being cited with a ticket." He was like, "All right, so he's not at fault. You're barking orders at him. Excuse me, may we have your badge number, please? Do I need to get a superior on the scene right now?" He was like, "No, sir, there's no need for a superior, blah, blah, blah." You know, all this stuff took place, gave me my license, free to go. My attorney's like, "Go to the hospital tomorrow just to get a medical report in case something happens, in case you get sore, this, that, and the third." Now, before I called my attorney, he was treating me like nothing.
Hostile. He was very hostile.
Sandra Bland, who died in police custody in Texas some years ago. I'm a Kappa. Sandra Bland was a Sigma Gamma Rho. Her mom came to one of the presentations back in the day, and she hugged me after the presentation, and she said, "I wish my baby would have had this when she got pulled over. Maybe she would still be alive." When I tell you I did the ugly cry, Janeah, I'm just like, "Mama Bland, you can't." It's a room full of about 200 people, and I'm up here sobbing, sniffing, right? You can't just, man, I got chills now just thinking about it.
Right, you about to make me tear up because I'm sensitive about Sandra Bland, man. She should be here.
It's so for me, it's not about the commission, it's about the mission. You know what I mean? Like people think, well, like so many people want to be cynical and skeptical about stuff, right? Like, I get it. Life has dealt our people a bad hand. You know what I mean? Life has dealt our people a bad hand. But when I almost said a bad word, when stuff comes across that we should be taking it,
here.
We can? Okay.
Yes.
I'm a hold on to those and use them when I need them. But when stuff comes across our desk that we should be taking advantage of, and we're so busy being cynical and skeptical, that's why we keep getting taken advantage of. Because when the good stuff comes, we're so scared to take a chance, a $30 chance, $1 a day chance. Like, come on, y'all. Realistically, but I don't force people. I'm not a pushy car salesman when it comes to all of my friends that know me know I ain't beating them over the head when it comes to Legalshield, but they always end up coming back saying, "Man, bro, I wish I would have had an attorney," or "Are you still doing that legal thing? Because now I got this situation going on," or "I've been treated unfairly." You know, I had somebody that had a car wrongfully repossessed who told me they didn't need Legalshield. It's like, I don't get in trouble. I don't need no lawyer. Got their car wrongfully repossessed. First person they called was me. Like, "Man, you think an attorney could handle?" Thought you didn't need us, right? but I get it, and I don't turn people away even when that happens.
Now, I'm glad you said that because I have a question. So the person whose car was wrongfully repossessed, right? If my car gets repossessed today on Monday, but I'm not a Legalshield member, but I call you today at 5 p.m. and my car was repossessed at 3 p.m., could I become a Legalshield member today and then start using the services for that particular incident, or would I have to wait and go forward with the service?
Yes, and so you get unlimited consultation even about pre-existing conditions, right? So we'll give you the consultation, tell you what your next best move is. If it involves some type of court situation for a pre-existing condition, then that would be available at the 25% discount. So one way or another, a person is going to be covered. But in some cases, I have seen where somebody becomes a member and the attorney is like, "You know what, let us try to fire off a letter for you and see what that does." And they'll write a letter or make a phone call on their behalf, and they end up getting the help that they need in that particular situation. But what I don't want to happen is people wait until something bad happens and then they just try to get it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wait until you have a flat tire to go get a spare tire. You have a spare tire just in case. You know, you don't wait until your kitchen is on fire to go get a fire extinguisher and have it under the sink. Hopefully, y'all got a fire extinguisher under the sink just in case. And so I have it just in case, but because we're learning new stuff, right? Like, I wouldn't have thought 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought if I get a bill that for $250 for my cell phone, I should have an attorney handle that. Like, we're not taught that. You know, we're not taught, let me run this by my attorney, let me call my attorney. We're not taught any of those things. So since we're not taught those things, when we have the availability of it, it's new and we're relearning stuff. But now that I have it and I'm used to using it, anytime something pops up, I'm like, I need to call my attorney on that. I need to, yeah, let me run that by my attorney. I get these contracts for these shows. I need to have my attorney look over this, you know, and it's a powerful thing. It was a lady in North Carolina buying a used Cadillac Escalade. And she said, I want to fax this to my attorneys before I sign it. And they was like, well, it's a standard contract. She said, well, don't worry, I have a standard attorney.
Yeah.
Right? So she sends the information over to them. And they said everything looks good, except there's a couple of things in the second paragraph on the second page that are alarming to us. If you have them take that out, you should be okay. And so she told them what they said. Sales manager came. They were like, okay, we'll okay it. Scratched that out. Saved her $2,500 in the purchase of that used Cadillac Escalade. She called the law firm back. She was like, yo, so I told them, you know, to take that out, but what was it? They said, well, they had a convenience fee and a preparation fee in there that didn't look right to us, which was nothing more than a glorified car wash. It was when they took the car in, washed it and detailed it, but they had a $2,500 price tag attached to it. Some of y'all are financing a car wash and you didn't even know it because you bought a used vehicle and you didn't get that contract reviewed. So it's the little stuff where, again, we don't think about it. But last thing, I promise, last thing. So a guy that used to be one of Oprah's hairdressers back in the day, I won't reveal his name, multimillionaire. Somebody introduced me to him. They were like, you need to go sign him up for Legalshield. I was like, Legalshield. So he's out in the North Shore, you know, this big crib. We're sitting in his office in his house over at like a 6-car garage, right? And I'm like, I said, you know, I got to ask you this. You're a multimillionaire. Why are you getting this thing? He was like, you see that Jaguar out there? He's like, that's my son's. He's had 4 speeding tickets this year alone. If I could pay $30 a month and have him represented on speeding tickets, this is a lot less affordable than the $500 I pay every time he gets a speeding ticket because I'm trying to keep my automobile insurance from going up. Because this is the most affordable second opinion I've ever had, you know, and it just makes sense. So,
yeah, I think it also makes sense for there are a lot of men, period, who deal with issues with bitter women, men who have kids by bitter women. And I remember talking to this guy, and we were talking about the fact that he hadn't seen his daughter in a year, and the mother wouldn't let him see her because he had a new girlfriend and all this and that. And I'm like, bro, you got to do something about that. You have a right to see your child. And I was asking, are you paying child support? He said, I never miss my child support. I said, if you never miss your child support, she has to let you see your child. Is there a court order for visitation? He's like, yeah. And he told me, he said, well, the reason that, I haven't done it is because I don't have a lawyer, and I don't want to, I can't afford a lawyer. And what's crazy is you've been in Legalshield for about 20 years. And I've known about it that long. And I didn't even think at the time, now this was about 6 years ago, I didn't think at the time to even tell him, like, you need Legalshield. But I wanted to bring that up for the men who are dealing with these issues, because if you can't afford a $200 an hour lawyer, but you can afford, now I know you can afford $30 a month, because half of y'all smoke and drink up $30 a week. A
$200.
$200
$200 a week.
Right. And so this is the type of thing that is important for single fathers. It's important for single mothers too, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be real honest about this. Most things are more mother friendly than father friendly, and the mothers seem to always be able to get in those courts and get things done. I haven't heard too many women have that problem, but men think that, because I have a record, because I have a record, the judge isn't going to, favor me, or the judge isn't going to let me, get my child and this and that. And so here's an avenue you could tell me at the end if I'm right or not. Here's an avenue where you guys don't have to get involved with her anymore. You call your lawyer and your lawyer takes care of that, because rightfully so. And one thing I told him that he did not believe, and I told him, I said, bro, if you show up at her door at your court appointed time and she refuses to give you that child, call the police, because now she is breaking the law, because you have the right to see your child. So do you think that this is beneficial for people dealing with those type of situations?
Yeah, so it's always beneficial, if nothing more than for the consultation, right? Because a lot of times that alone is the starting point to put people in the right direction, even if it's going to be at a 25% discount later, which a lot of that, some of that stuff comes at a 25% discount. But the conversation to get put on the right page or the right direction. I got a friend who went through a divorce, and the attorneys are like, "Look, we could do the divorce for you at a 25% discount, or we can walk you through the paperwork and exactly what you need to say in court." And she was like, "I'm getting divorced. I don't have the money." And they walked her through it and basically coached her on the conversations that she needed to have, what her demands were, reviewed her paperwork before she went in there, and she was all gravy. She was Gucci. So a lot of it becomes a thing of how important is it to you to make sure that you protect yourself and your family. And for me, myself and my family is everything. My girls are everything for me. So making sure that I put a blanket of protection around us. We had see all the stories just because I've been around all this time. So we had a lady that was in Chicago public housing and low income housing, and she was in a garden apartment, basically a basement apartment. Her pipes bursted, and they came, they cleaned it out or whatever. But her son kept getting sick, kept getting sick, kept getting sick. Come to find out, he had mold poisoning from what happened in the apartment. She had these staggering healthcare bills for her son. They said CHA was like, "We're not paying that," but she was a Legalshield member. We wrote a letter on her behalf and made a phone call to CHA. Not only did they pay her medical bills for her son, they moved her into a larger apartment at the same rent as before, moved her into a better unit at the same rent, and paid for her stuff, paid for her medical bills and whatnot. Now, this woman would not have had the $300, $400, $500 an hour to hire an attorney for that, but all she paid was her monthly membership fee, and she had access to it. Is the system perfect? No. Let's get this out the way. Might there be an attorney that had a bad day, or maybe his wife left him or something, and he showed up to work and he got a bad attitude or something like that? Yes, I've had situations where I've called in on some of the attorneys that I didn't think did a good job, or were talking to me like they were crazy. But here's the thing: we got a checks and balance system. If I would have just went to an outside attorney myself and gave them my money, then there's no checks and balance. But because these attorneys are contracted through Legalshield, I can call customer service and say, "Hey, I had this situation with this attorney." And they're like, "All right, let us find out what's happening, whatever." And I've had situations where I've either been reassigned a different attorney. I've gotten attorneys fired before as a VP. I've gotten attorneys fired before and kicked out of the system because they didn't do what they needed to do. And
Right.
if I'm sitting here telling people, listen, you're going to get quality service with bedside manner, because that's what a lot of attorneys lack. Even if you're going to give me an answer that I don't like, but if you do it with bedside manner, right? If you do it in a way where it's like, listen, unfortunately, the law states X, Y, and Z, and because of that, you don't really have merit or grounds to stand on to pursue this any further. We could try something. We could try to write a letter and see if they bite. But unfortunately, this is where you are, as opposed to, nah, you don't stand a chance in hell. You ain't got a case. You're wasting my time, right? I could take one answer better than the other.
Big difference, big difference. Well, that's all good to know. And as well, so people don't have to just be a member, right? They could also
Yeah. This could
become an
be a
agent.
part-time business for you. Yeah, you could be an associate. This could be a part-time business for you. I started this business on a part-time basis. This company has paid me over $1 million in commissions since I've been in here. This has been what's given me the time and financial freedom for me to be able to be an actor, for me to write books, for me to do my other companies. It was a side hustle, and so I'm really excited about it, because my audition for Chicago PD when I first got on was at 11:30 in the day, Daytime, if I was working a regular job, I wouldn't have been able to go because I would have been stuck behind a desk. So, it's a good little part-time venture. It's something that I was going to tell people about anyway, so I figured I might as well get paid for it. And then the great part about it is through me helping other people, it's built my income, and I've helped. I mean, I helped the young lady on my team. She makes almost $200,000 a year going to companies offering this as an employee benefit. So to be able to empower other people, because again, for me, it's about helping people have a light bulb moment and giving people valuable resources. So giving people the resource to do whatever it is that they want to do on their own terms and make a difference while making a living has been golden for me.
That's dope. That's dope. I definitely
Yep.
appreciate you coming on and talking about that because especially with the climate that we have here in Chicago, this is a service that a lot of people really need. And some people don't understand it at all. They might have come across someone who couldn't explain it as well as you, or explain how they can benefit it, because the thing is we need to know how it could benefit us. But if you tell me stories that, or you're talking about things that are nowhere near anything that I could see myself coming in contact with or being able to use, then I'm not going to listen to it, and I'm not going to see it being beneficial. So our people really do need to know how they can use this service, because I personally wouldn't have thought about, I've gotten that whole $250 cell phone fee too. I got it when I left Sprint, because I'm gonna say who I left.
That's who
I
it
was
was. That's who it was.
bro. I was saying, look, when I was a flight attendant, and I don't know, I left T-Mobile briefly and went to Sprint. And that was the worst thing I could have ever done, because everywhere we laid over, once I got into the hotel, there was no service in
reception.
my room, no service. Look, when I was on my jump seat on the plane trying to talk on the phone and text people when I wasn't supposed to be, it wasn't working on the runways. So I was so pissed off. I had Sprint for 3 months and I canceled them. And they charged me the $250. But again, I wouldn't have gotten charged that if I had Legalshield, and I could have had somebody write a letter. So we want you guys to hear the real stories as to how you can use these services. I got you, Mel. That's pretty dope. Now, you as a serial, a multi-stream entrepreneur,
Multi-lane entrepreneur.
multi-lane, I haven't heard that before, so I'll get used to it. Multi-lane entrepreneur, right? Okay. How do you define success?
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. I got that from
What?
Earl Nightingale.
That was a what?
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret said that. So success is not being a multimillionaire, because there are people that are multimillionaires that are truly unhappy in life, and that's not success. They're not enjoying any of it, right? So, I use Mother Teresa as a great example. Mother Teresa had no money, but she had a life and a legacy that she left behind because her life's work was devoted to helping other people. So that's how she defined success. There are teachers that I know that financially are not wealthy or independent or may even be struggling, but the impact that they have on their students and what they do for their communities through teaching is successful, right? So success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Whatever you think is a worthy ideal, if you're moving in that direction, you are a success. The moment you decide to become successful in that and you put the plan in place and you're taking action, you are successful, because we can measure it in dollars and cents, but that would take away from all of the people that are making an impact that didn't do it in dollars and cents, didn't do it in the business world. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey actually had money, but
Right.
there are people that do things in the world and are successful at what they do, but it's not a financial impact.
Okay. And what, in your opinion, are the qualities of a successful entrepreneur?
The qualities of a successful entrepreneur: number one, they're driven, right? They're driven and passionate about what it is that they do. And number two, they operate in tenacity. In other words, they're not going to let anything get in their way. And if it does get in their way, they're going to figure out a way to get around it or go through it. So they're driven, they operate in tenacity, they're operating in their purpose. And the way that I define purpose for my clients, I ask them, what if you died today, what would you be ashamed that you didn't accomplish before you died? Right? What would you be ashamed? Like if you checked out right now and you said, man, if these were the few things that I would have done, before I got out of here, right? That's how I help people find their purpose. And that's just a miniature version of it. There's a lot more than that. So tenacity, passion, purpose. I think those are the three. I mean, I could go on and on and on. That's a very deep dive, but I think those three are the main three.
That's good. Those are very good. So where can the people find you? Where can someone find you if they want to book you as an actor? Where can people find you or find the services as well for Legalshield?
MelRoberson.com has everything. MelRoberson.com has my social media on there. They have links for Legalshield on there. My books are on there. You can join my mailing list, my VIP mailing list on there. MelRoberson.com has everything on there if you want to find me. I'm very active on Facebook as well. I usually get even the inbox that I don't know about, when you're not friends with somebody, it goes to another inbox. I try to check that on a regular basis as well. But it's always easy to find me. I ain't hard to find. I'm from 79th and Colfax.
From the 9.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy you said that about even the inbox of people who don't know you. I didn't realize there was a separate little inbox until a few months ago. And so when I found it, it goes back years as to the messages that was in there. And I was reading those messages and I was like, woo, glad I didn't know about these because these are some strange messages. Okay. But there is another little request message inbox or whatever. And you guys, I've known Mel since I was, I think, 14 years old. So it's been a long time. I met him
7
on the
years.
9.
You're only 21 now?
Right, I'm only 21 now, so it ain't even that long. It ain't been that long. But this was good. This was a lot of good information. I definitely appreciate you coming on. It's always good to see you. It's good to speak to you in this manner and to be able to share it, even if we only shared it with one person and somebody got something out of it. I'm glad that we were able to do this. I look forward to us doing it again later on.
Absolutely.
You're welcome,
Absolutely. You got to come by the house. I'll be cooking, girl.
I know. I need some of that good vegan food. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I got you.
This is definitely dope, though. We have to come back on, and I want to come back on again in some time. I know, give us some time and really kind of dive into a couple more of these situations with the Legalshield. And there are some people who I'm actually going to reach out to who I know have certain situations. I want to ask them about them so we can come on here and, not point them out, but actually talk about their situations and how Legalshield can help them because it's very important.
If you want to do a private Zoom, I'll do that for you. Well, we could do a private Zoom. It doesn't have to be something that's broadcast on Facebook. I'll do a private Zoom where we can go over and dive in a little bit deeper and have an in-depth conversation, number one. Number two, I would love to have another conversation with you about mindset. We kind of got stuck on the business side of it, but I'm such a firm believer that thought is the springboard of all activity and success, that we really need to reprogram our people in the way that we think and what our mindset is about what we can and can't do, what we can and can't have, what's available for us, and really help people tap into the unlimited power that they have. That's like the stuff that lights me up on the inside. And so I think if we get on another time and have a boss conversation around mindset and what it really means to be the master of your own fate, the master of your own destiny, if we can have a conversation around that and get our people thinking differently, man, so many folks are going to realize how unstoppable they really are. So I'm willing to come back. Like I say, anything for you, babe. Anytime, you just let me know and we can rock out.
That's it. We're going to talk about the mindset because that is it. I really want to talk about your businesses, your business ventures, give you your flowers because I'm so proud of you, man. I've seen you
Thank you. Thank
come
you so
from a
much.
teenager now to a whole grown man with grown kids, you know. So we have never lost touch with each other. Me living in Atlanta, back here, back in Atlanta, we've always stayed in touch with each other. And so, you know, it's not often that people have friendships that last that long. And you are definitely somebody I know if I'm in the trenches, I know if I call you, you're going to come and pull me out the trenches. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate that so much. Your friendship is very dear to me. Very dear to me. I don't play about my mail. Okay. Don't play about my mail. This is a friendship that is so sacred, you know. So I definitely want to give you your flowers. You're an awesome dad, awesome father. You have raised two beautiful women, you know. And
You really
so
try to
give
make
you
me
your
cry now.
accolades for that. Give you your accolades for that. You're a great son. You have been the best son to your mother and father, your friends, the friends from the nine to now. And it's not many people who I can say that about because some people are fair weather friends. There are not a lot of people who are any weather friends. And you
Yeah.
are a any weather friend. Anybody you are down for, you are down for. And even people you're not. I love that what you said earlier. You always want to help people. So somebody can come to you and say, hey, I got this situation. And you go right in your little Rolodex in your head and think about
Yeah.
who you know. And see, that's the things though, you know, you didn't touch on this, but this is what I know, that that's also one of the benefits of you being in that fraternity, because alone in your fraternity, you know so many powerful men that are in so many different avenues that you
True.
could reach out to. And because you're their frat brother, because you guys have that history, that they're going to show up for somebody else for you. And
Yeah.
that
That's
speaks
true.
volumes that people will show up for other people for you on your behalf. So give you your flowers because you definitely deserve them. You've earned them. I'm
Thank you.
so proud of you, proud of all your accolades and your accomplishments. I'm gonna always be stalking you and everything you're doing. You guys, he's on the stage. If he ain't speaking to somebody, he's acting, he's behind the scenes. Do you still do poetry on Clubhouse?
I haven't done poetry on Clubhouse in a minute, but
Okay.
I am about to release another CD called Truth and Well, I guess they ain't CDs no more, but
Right. Please.
but you know, an album, I guess,
Y'all
on
see he
on
telling
digital
his age, right?
platforms. Right, right. What's crazy is, so I haven't released a poetry album in so long, and you know, I haven't put any of them on digital platforms. So I got 5 poetry albums that are archived and on CD and you know all that other stuff, but they're not on digital platforms. So I need to get that stuff up. But I went through a really bad breakup some years ago, and I actually lost my son, what would have been my only son. And so I'm writing an album. I've written an album called Truth and Tragedy, and so the Truth and Tragedy album is about to be released this year as well. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Dope, dope, dope. It's something where you can get vulnerable and share that pain. And there's a lot of
Yeah,
other people that have been through the same thing. So I'm
yeah,
looking forward to that as well. And I need you to get that stuff on on these digital platforms, okay?
I
Get
will.
it
I
out to the
will.
people. We don't, you know, we don't want nothing to happen and that stuff never gets out here. So put it on out there, brother. Put it on out there.
For sure. I will. I promise you I will.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have any last nuggets or gems you want to drop on the people before we get out of here?
Man, one of my favorite quotes in the world is from Albert Einstein, and he said that the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking as when we created them. So it's super important, super important that people realize that, again, your thought process is everything, your thinking is everything, and that you have the ability to create and manifest whatever it is that you want in life.
Dope, dope. It is.
Yep.
It is. Manifesting, manifesting, manifesting. I just saw one of my girlfriends the other day. She was talking about some stuff she wanted to do. I said, have you written it down? She's like, no, girl, it's in my head. Don't count on your head, baby girl. You got all these great, ideas. They can be gone tomorrow. You write it and speak it into existence. So you guys, that mind frame, that, and manifesting, please write down your ideas. Do not count on your brain to keep all those good ideas in your head, because they're good when they come in your head. But you got to either vocalize them and record them or write them down. And then you go ahead and speak them into existence and make it happen.
There's a on my website on the melroberson.com. There's a free goal setting seminar. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for it. It's a 15-minute goal setting seminar where I walk you through the 7 steps of successful goal setting. And the first step is think it and ink it. Right? There's something different that happens when you physically write out things as opposed to just having them in your head or even typing them on a tablet or a cell phone or whatever. The synapse that happens in your brain and the mental connections that are placed through actually physically writing something out is a lot different. So I talk a little bit about that in the goal setting seminar. So just go to melroberson.com. It's a free link on there. It'll walk you through the 7 steps of successful goal setting. And again, hit me up, connect with me if I could be of service or whatever. If you need a speaker for something or professional development, so nonprofit stuff I do. At a big discount. But if your company is bringing in speakers anyway, and the speaker's been whack, and y'all need some good speakers at your job to really do some professional development stuff, man, I would love to come in and just help some people out.
All right. Thank you. He is a great speaker, y'all. Great speaker. Well, thank you, Mel. I appreciate your time tonight. You can go on and finish the rest of your taco.
Man, I'm about to go throw this boy back in the toaster oven real quick.
that little piece of a taco, but yeah, go on to make you another one and get your stomach right.
No doubt. I love you, sis. Thanks for having me on.
Love you too. Have a good night.
All right, y'all.
Peace. All right, y'all. Another boss conversation down. I so appreciate that brother coming on. That was definitely some good information. Again, you guys check him out, melroberson.com, especially if you want to know anything about the Legalshield business, professional development. If you need a speaker for your business, any of those things, mindset speakers, or you want to just get your mindset right, reach out to him. He's such a welcoming soul. I love to bring people on like him because I know that he is really open to our community, to the community, period, but especially to our community. So if you guys see any way you could use his assistance, if you forget how to get to him, just hit me up. I would definitely link you up with him. And check me out. I'll be back on here again Wednesday, and I'll be talking to comedian Elijah Howard. And so we're going to talk about all the things that he does, and we're going to look at a little bit of his stand-up comedy while we're on here. So you guys have a great night. Another boss conversation coming in. Love you guys. Please stay safe.